Welcome to BitBoy Crypto.
We can't let anybody else find out who we are. My eyes are up here. I personally would not advise that strategy. Bugs Bunny or Tweety Bird, how to make money in crypto.
Oh, you're killing me.
Welcome to BitBoy Crypto, the people's channel, home of the BitSquad, the largest and greatest crypto community in all the interwebs. No channel works harder to keep you in the know about crypto. My name is Ben, coming to you live every day at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Today is Monday, April 25th. It's my brother's birthday, actually, today. I should tell him happy birthday while I am... You don't like when I say people's birthdays?
No, I just realized my sister's birthday was 2 days ago, and I didn't text her.
Yeah,
so
it was my brother,
happy
Chad.
birthday, Amanda.
And then also my cousin Brody has the exact same birthday. So I'm going to send him the same text. It says, happy birthday from live. That's it in the show. I'm going to fix it, say on the show. There you go. Happy birthday, guys. Okay, well, guys, we got a big show for you. What perfect timing. We have been planning on having Bill Ottman from Minds, which is a decentralized social media, on the channel. We've actually been planning this for about 2 weeks. What a day to do it.
Yeah.
You know, looks like Elon Musk is buying Twitter, guys. It's not official yet, but it's also not like just a rumor at this point. Twitter has, I believe, I don't know to say officially, I don't know if you can say official about them looking at the offer, but they are looking at it, and the stock price of Twitter was surging today based on that. So no snake shirt today. I wore, so we had an auction, a charity auction at my kids' private school. And it was, the theme was camp night. Yes, I'm going to play cricket today. This was actually the Gucci shirt I got the ketchup and mustard on. I don't know if you can zoom in and see it. Oh, it came off.
Look at that.
Thank you to the dry cleaners. But so it was, the theme was camp night. So everybody's wearing like Girl Scout stuff and, hats and flannels. And I was like, I'm going Western camp. So I wore my cowboy hat and my my ostrich skin boots over to that. And, no one else wore anything close to me. And I felt like that guy from that Wrong Party commercial where he shows up and he's like dressed like, is that a centaur?
Yeah.
Like a centaur?
I think
like
that was
the body of a horse?
It was like an old Geico commercial or something?
Something like that. And he's like, oh, wrong party. That's how I felt all night. I was at the Western party and everybody else was at the other party. So sucked to see the Hawks lose last night, but they did win on Friday night, so at least we're not going to get swept. Tough one last night. A lot of you guys saw me on TV this weekend. I want those seats permanently.
Yeah.
So we are on the list. It's a watermelon.
They caught me
I have a watermelon bang somewhere.
pounding some cookies. Somebody said, I saw you pounding those cookies after a halftime.
Somebody saw me?
No, me. Remember I had that?
Oh, you had 4 cookies. Yeah.
They said nachos or something. Like, no, it was cookies, man. Those were
It
good.
was cookies.
Best part of the game.
Well, guys, let's go and get started because we're going to bring Bill on here in just a minute. We'll bring Frankie on a little bit later. I'll tell you, we've been doing some research for some videos. We got a lot of interesting stuff going on in this market right now. 1.45 million followers. How did you guys like our Raoul Pal interviews? They were phenomenal. A lot of great feedback. Don't forget, subscribe to Frankie Candle's Meta Money. Still trying to break that 50,000 subscriber mark. So make sure to do all of that. These are our other channels that we have. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, 833.3 thousand. You couldn't find it? Yeah. I just left it somewhere. Sorry, Allison's trying to track down my bang. Let's see here. Benjamin Cowan here on Twitter, he made this poll. And of course, I said people are finally starting to open up to the idea. And guys, look, I want you guys to really understand that when it comes to a bear versus a bull market, I am pretty sure that we are in a bear market at this point. I would say I'm 95% sure at this point. Look, that doesn't mean that things are not exciting in crypto. And one thing I really want you guys to be thinking, we're going to be talking a lot about, I shared this tweet earlier, in crypto, it's about picking winners. The next round of winners will be those who truly disrupt entire industries. And I don't know why I put a colon. That was supposed to be a period. People are waiting for the second part of this tweet, I guess. But guys, it's a time to really start thinking about projects that are disrupting industries. Obviously, XRP, disrupting the banking industry. Bitcoin, you know, the commodity, the gold industry, if you will, you know, could play a role in microtransactions on Twitter, which is pretty cool stuff. Way bigger announcement than anything at Bitcoin 2022, in my opinion. We're also going to take, if you can't find it, Allison, it's okay. I can live without it, by the way. I'm not going to drink a whole new bang. No, I'll be insane. Thank you, Allison. Allison is the very best. By the way, flat tire.
Oh, gosh.
Flat. This is me at the Hawks game Sunday night right here. But I want to say this. Flat tire pulling into the CNN parking deck at the Hawks game on Friday. I gashed the Lambo tire. Lambos don't have a spare. A member of the Bit Squad, God, I don't have his card with me right now. A member of the Bit Squad was in the parking lot.
No way.
Yeah, came over and he does car stuff. And he was looking and, you know, trying to help me figure out what to do. And then he waited until I got back and left to make sure I got out okay.
That's awesome.
Love that guy. He was a really great guy. Anyways, that was really exciting. Allison got all that taken care of while I was in the game. Got the tire plug. So thank you to Allison for that. But we want to look at things that are disrupting industries. Ethereum disrupting the entire internet. What are the other coins like that are going to be disruptive? And those are the coins we're going to really focus on accumulating during this time. Obviously, Cardano won, but Cardano is really trying to disrupt Ethereum. You know, trying to disrupt, thank you, Allison, the smart contract world. It's not the layer ones. It's not trying to disrupt another industry, right? That industry already kind of exists. So, like, I wouldn't necessarily say Cardano at this point is on that list. Obviously, things disrupting decentralized finance could be something to look at. You know, metaverse, NFT stuff. Here we go, taking a look at the markets with 1.8 trillion. Big drop, 89 billion, almost 90 billion in volumes. Volume is decent. Bitcoin at 41.2%, Ethereum 19.2%, continuing to drop after that ETH merge news. 39 Paraguays is going to send you an ETH transaction. This is not right. What? Maybe I clicked something. I did. Bitcoin right now coming in at 39.2. I think it dropped all the way to 38.7. Let's see what CoinMarketCap says the low was. 38.3. Okay, 38.3. $38,338.38. So there you go with that. Let's take a look at Ethereum coming in at 28.82. I don't think these are going dramatically lower, maybe another 25 to 30% down over this bear market, which, you know, significant numbers, but I would be totally good with people accumulating Ethereum at 2,800. I would just tell you that. Binance Coin back under 400, Solana under $100, Terra Luna actually with a positive week, one of the few winners. XRP down at 67 cents. This is, you know, pretty close to where, you know, a lot of people got in. So this is a pretty good level of support, but I do think it's going lower, guys. We'll talk about XRP here in a little bit. But I think, you know, you guys have been handed a gift, the gift to accumulate over this next bull run. You know, a good video for us to do would be to look at the returns on XRP from the 2017 to 2018 bull run. I think that would be really interesting. The reason would be the last bull run was suppressed by the SEC. What if we saw just a sliver of what we saw in 2017? People literally investing $1,000 and becoming millionaires is what happened in the beginning of that run. So, okay, biggest gainers, Dogecoin, Terra, ApeCoin, Kava. You guys know, especially on a Monday, I like to look at the biggest gainers for the week. ApeCoin up to 1765. Kava, Curve, Steppen making big moves, still up 14% for the week, and Terra Luna up 10%. So let's go ahead right now and bring Bill on. If you could you drop, is this social media in the chat or in the description?
I will check.
Yeah, let's make sure. Let's get his social media on the in the chat. Let me come over here to Bill. Bill, what is going on? Oh, I cannot hear Bill.
I can't either.
You can't either?
No.
Were you on mute, Bill? Let me refresh. Hold on. It might be my end. Get this off here. Can you talk? No. Okay, so do you have at the bottom of your screen? Is the microphone green? If you hover down, it'll pop up. Okay. You want to bring BJ in and y'all test that?
They were talking. That. They were talking right before.
They were. That's weird. Let me double check mine.
Hello.
Oh, there he is. We got him. DJ, we got him.
Refreshed.
Okay, he just hit refresh and was good. Bill, welcome to the show. Thank you for coming on. If you could, you were actually on my Beards and Bitcoins podcast, I believe, back in the day. But if you want, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do in the decentralized world.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, look, we've been building open source, decentralized social media for about a decade now, infusing it with crypto, putting creators first, putting privacy first, end-to-end encryption by default, not blanket surveilling everybody, sticking to free speech, sticking to the First Amendment. The future of social media is a world where creators come first. It's interoperable. We're not siloed in any major platform. Creators are earning crypto. They're earning cash. Their privacy is protected. This is just where we're going. And now we've got, Elon seeming to be supporting some of this, which is amazing.
Well, what a day to have you on. What a day.
Yeah.
We had this plan 2 weeks ago. So, yeah. So one thing I want to know from you, Bill, is, I had a Raoul Pal on the channel over the weekend for a 2-part interview. And he said, we pretty much aligned with a lot of our kind of predictions for what's going to be going on in crypto in 4 to 5 years and Web3. But one thing that he said that I can't understand how it would be possible would be right now everybody's talking about Web 2 social media, like social media 2.0. Social media 3.0, it will be decentralized. He says that he believes that, Twitter might make sense if Elon buys it, but even Meta or Facebook, as people still refer to it as, that eventually they're going to be forced to kind of move over to the decentralized world. But that doesn't seem to jive with their entire, profit plan of monetizing people's data and privacy. Like, can they get off of that teat? Is that possible? Or do you think that we're seeing the beginning of the end of Meta? And that's kind of what I think is going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, I sort of agree with both. You see, Instagram's talking about supporting NFTs. Meta, is discussing Web3, but it's sort of this distorted version of
closed
Web3.
off.
It's all closed source. It's not in the true spirit of crypto, and it's almost like they're riding on the coattails of it because they know they have to, but they're not actually embodying the principles. I mean, crypto is all about censorship resistance. Facebook, or I'm not even gonna. I don't call them Meta. I'm not going to give them the benefit.
I know it's like so. It's bad because we talk about metaverse so bad, and it's like they've monopolized that name, and it's like, I hate calling.
No, just don't call them Meta. They don't deserve it. They don't embody the principles. So, I think that it'll be a little bit of both. I think that Elon is talking about open sourcing Twitter, which is a huge step towards decentralization. You have to be open source in order to actually be able to be fully decentralized.
Yeah, and I think that when you look at the latest announcement from Facebook, and I agree with that. I'm never going to call it Meta again. I'm just going to call it Facebook. The latest announcement from Facebook regarding their metaverse was that I can't remember if it was a leak or if it was official or if this was really the name, but they were going to have an internal coin called Zuckbucks, and that was going to be what you were going to use within that ecosystem. But how is that any different than V-Bucks on Fortnite? It's the exact same thing. If it's a closed system, you can't pull it off. It defeats the entire purpose, and it just seems like boomer manipulation to me at this point for them.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think that any rewards are a positive sign for creators. So I do think rewarding users whether it's with fiat, whether it's with, in-game currencies, whether it's with actual, decentralized cryptocurrencies, those are sort of all steps in the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
With on Mines, you can earn tokens, you can, pull them on chain. We're on Ethereum, the Mines token is, and you earn it for a variety of activities. And we also have Bitcoin integrations, and we are very agnostic in terms of like the types of crypto that we want to support and enable creators to earn and trade. But yeah, I think that gamification is essential for social media, and we need to see it in any form. Zuckbucks sound like a total joke. I don't even know if it's real, but I'm
sure it's a working name. I'm sure it'll actually be something different,
There's Facebook time and time again has betrayed users. They take away your reach. They ban you. there's no reason to trust that anything that they say having to do with crypto is going to be done in good faith.
Absolutely nothing. And guys, if you like when we bring on special guests onto the show, and we will have Frankie Candles on a little bit later, make sure to smash that like button for us. It's the number one thing you can do as a member of our decentralized BitSquad community to help out the channel and to get more people into crypto. And these are conversations that people need to understand and need to know because they're very important for the future of the internet. And kind of, we look at crypto, we look at investing, and that's one side of it. When we look at the larger vision of decentralization, and to me, that's what made me actually fall in love with crypto. I certainly didn't make a ton of money in the beginning. It was the decentralization that drew me in. So when it comes to, let's just touch briefly. I want to get a little more into mines here in a moment, but I do want to briefly just get your thoughts on the Elon Musk news. We're going to be covering it here in a few minutes. I'll be explaining what's going on, but basically, Twitter looks like they're open to the idea of Elon Musk buying them. The stock price was up this morning on it. If Elon Musk buys Twitter, what does this mean?
Well, he's already said that he wants to open source it and put it on GitHub. I don't know if you watched the TED interview that he gave the other day, basically right after he put in the offer. I mean, that is monumental. The fact that there's not any other big tech site that has done that, it completely changes the game in terms of transparency around the algorithms. When you post, are crypto channels getting shadow banned on, we don't know. And so the fact that that will now be auditable and transparent to the community is a complete game changer. If that happens, it means that, Twitter will no longer be able to play weird games with promotion and demotion of certain channels. I mean, we even saw on YouTube, Pomp got banned from YouTube. Remember that?
Yeah, well, I've been banned from YouTube 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, exactly. So we've had issues in the App Store. We need to have more alignment with the First Amendment. So I think that's a good sign. It seems like he wants to be tackling identity, decentralized identity more, reputation, so that we can, get rid of a lot of the scam bots. That's a really big deal. Decentralized identity and Web3 sort of go hand in hand, but there are web specs for this kind of stuff, which can make it so that your reputation on one site sort of bridges over to another site. This is not like a social credit score Chinese type system. This is actually kind of the decentralized reputation world that we want to move to.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really fascinating. I've certainly been extremely critical of Elon Musk for a lot of things that he's done. Everybody thinks he created Tesla. He stole it from the 2 guys who created it. And, we saw what he was doing with the environmental FUD last year that was pretty much the top of the retail market. He was bragging around the time of Bitcoin 2021 about being able to manipulate the Bitcoin market. Then there's a lot of negative stuff there. But if he buys Twitter and he fixes it, I can come back over to his side.
Well, that's a bold statement that he stole Tesla. He rebutted that in the TED Talk, but I don't know.
We did a whole video on it. We did a whole into the research. Basically, the two guys that created it, he ended up kind of like you see with the Uber show that was on HBO. There's a lot of technical things that go on in the world of business, like what's stolen, what's selling, whatever it is. But there was regret expressed by the guys that created it. And, if you ask him if he's the creator, he dodges that question and will go into a different kind of answer. You can check out every interview where he's done that.
Well, look, I think that, regardless, to your point, I mean, if he fixes Twitter, that is absolutely insane. You also can't necessarily expect any one person to fix Twitter. It's, this idea of centralized corporations kind of being what we all expect. That we expect them to run our communication systems is not where we need to be. We should not be relying on any one single platform. There should be federation protocols talking between them all. You should, be posting out to the world of social networks and not relying on any single one to be in control of your social graph.
Yeah.
Your social graph should be portable to you. And so this is what we need to keep the pressure on, even if this goes through.
Yeah, for sure.
Keep the pressure on Elon to keep decentralizing, keep making things more interoperable and portable, so that it doesn't matter what network you're on. You're carrying your stuff with you around, and you control your digital assets and your social graph and your identity.
Yeah, and I think that's so important. I do think that I want to point out, when I say fix Twitter, I mean, right, we're always going to have problems where certain people are going to complain about censorship. Like if somebody says something that's against the terms of service, and sometimes it gets applied, sometimes it doesn't, that's whatever. But, really it is, when it comes to these spam bots, especially, like the spam bots, it is absolute negligence on the part of Twitter, on the part of Facebook, on the part of Instagram. It is negligence that they allow these spam accounts and scam bots to be able to go on. Every single time I make a tweet, I immediately have 30 responses from scam bots trying to get people to go to some, fake Elon Musk, giveaway page. And it's negligence, because I know as well as you do, Bill, if you or I went into Twitter and they were actually to listen to us, we could probably figure out a way, even aside from Michael Saylor's, solution, which will work. Like, we could find out a solution to this in a matter of hours. It's just Twitter doesn't have the motivation because they're not the ones that are scamming people. It's us that look bad, and we have all these scammers in our comments, and they don't have the motivation or incentive, and they know it's a problem. I've had people that have said, oh my gosh, I sent $50,000 to this address. Is negligence. And so, I hope he does take that seriously. And I do like the idea of Bitcoin microtransactions fixing it.
Yeah, let's talk about that just a little bit more.
Sure.
I mean, I think that there's also a possibility that it's willful negligence, and that they actually like the numbers that they're getting from the spam bots. Those are pumping their numbers.
Yeah.
Those are pumping their daily active users.
It's true. I mean, I go into one of my notifications and I click one of my tweets and I'm like, oh, I just posted this. It's already got 60 comments on it. And it's like every single one is a scam comment. And it's,
same on Instagram. I think they absolutely like to turn a blind eye because it helps their metrics.
Yeah.
And, to be
that's
fair,
that's a strong statement. I like it.
It's not it's harder than you think. I think that, yes, there's definitely simple solutions which could take a big bite out of it. But and we deal with this. I mean, you have humans who act incredibly bot-like. You have to be careful that you're not going to have collateral damage. You don't want to be banning innocent people in the process, which is a huge danger when you kind of make these blanket algorithmic changes. But yeah, I mean, putting up some tokens or money in order to, basically prove that you're not. I think that would be a big step in the right direction. And yeah, they just haven't put any energy into it. The Twitter blue checkmark thing is a complete scam inside. Like, it's like a friend of a friend.
Every verification on every social media platform. This is what some people don't know. It is a very dark underbelly of the social media world. It's all bribes. It's payment. We paid to get verified on Instagram. They're the one place that would not verify us, and we ended up paying to get it done, because you don't realize, like, they intentionally will not verify you because the people that are in charge of these accounts, they're waiting for a backdoor to open for you to pay them off. Every other place we got verified legitimately, and we are verified legitimately. Obviously, people know who we are. We've got over 6 million social media followers. But the fact is, it's a dirty world. Also, buying and reselling of unused accounts on these are also, like, with good handles, is also a dark underbelly.
And honestly, that should all be streamlined and turned to an actual market. I mean, the fact that there's this underground economy going on on Twitter for, buying accounts, buying followers, like, I mean, bring that to the surface, make it an actual real economy, as opposed to making it against the terms, but then, like, insiders at Facebook are taking bribes to verify a channel. Like, it's completely absurd.
It really is. Well, Bill, I'd love to chat with you more. We can certainly have you on again in the future. I think, I don't think we're posting on Minds right now. It might be something we start doing.
Let's get you synced up. We have auto posting from YouTube. We'll make it really easy. So hit me up at minds.com/Ottman. I think you guys have a channel on there, but we'll get you fired up.
Okay. Sounds good, Bill. Thanks for coming on today. We'll talk to you later.
Thanks for having me.
All right, bye.
That was cool. That was a good interview.
Somebody that knows what he's talking about, right?
Yeah, that was great.
And if you guys want to check out minds.com, it's pinned in the live chat as well. So
also in the description.
And also in the description. Guys, let's go ahead and start talking about what's happening right now with Twitter. Basically, we gave you the conversation on the front end. Now let's get into the actual news about what's going on. And then I really want to get into why I think this is a big deal, other than like why I think this is a big deal for Bitcoin specifically. Okay. Twitter in advanced talks to sell itself to Elon Musk. This is from the New York Times. The company's 11-member board was negotiating with Mr. Musk into the morning on Monday over his offer to buy the social networking service and take it private. Twitter is nearing a deal. Sell itself to Elon Musk. Two people with knowledge of the situation said. A move that would unite the world's richest man with the influential social networking service. This is a big moment in history if this happens.
It is pretty big.
I feel like personally, this could be, if this happens and Elon Musk is not lying and he does what he says he's going to do, this could be the swing pivot point in the history between centralization and decentralization in the digital world. I believe that could be the swing point here.
Yeah.
This will automatically become, if Bitcoin is integrated in this, which we'll talk more in a second, it will automatically become the #1 most used crypto platform in the world by a long shot, right? I believe. How many users does Coinbase have?
That's a good question.
Look that up real quick. Because I think, and then look up the Twitter numbers. Somebody said it's only 130 million on Twitter. There's no way. There's got to be way more than that.
Let's see. 89 million verified on Coinbase.
Okay. So 89 million for Coinbase. Binance, has, somewhat more. I'm sure they're over 100 million.
397 million. On
397 million. So, we do know Bitcoin and Ethereum are already integrated into Twitter, but if this comes a place where you're making microtransactions to tweet, Twitter's board was negotiating with Mr. Musk into the early hours. He began lining up $46.5 billion in financing. Two sides were discussing details, including a timeline to close any potential deal and any fees that would be paid if an agreement were signed and then fell apart. The discussion followed a Twitter board meeting on Sunday. Let's see. His offer of $54.20 per share. Twitter stock rose 2%. I thought it was 5%. I thought it went to $52, if I remember correctly this morning. An agreement is not yet final and may still fall apart. Mr. Musk, who has 83 million followers on Twitter. I remember the peak of Bitcoin mania in around April of last year. I believe that was at 53 million. He's almost doubled since then. Because I remember looking at that number and having a hard time grasping how many followers he had. He began amassing shares in the company earlier this year, declared his intent to buy the company on April 14th and take it private. Let's see. Twitter adopted a poison pill, a defensive maneuver that would prevent Mr. Musk from accumulating more of the stock. We thought that was kind of the end of this. We thought this was the end. I see people making comments about Dogecoin into Twitter. Wouldn't rule that out at this point.
Nope.
I told you guys if I were to, buy Shiba or Doge, like I would definitely be going with Doge at this point, over Shiba, and this would, seem to cement that.
I saw Martini guy telling people if they've never bought any crypto at all before and they didn't want to buy Bitcoin, to buy Dogecoin, which was interesting.
Is it up today? It's the #1 gainer of the day. I mean, at this point, do we buy some and just as a hedge? But look, the whole thing is why we say we don't buy Shiba is it does nothing.
Yeah.
If he buys this and Dogecoin does get integrated into Twitter, then it does something. But then it's too late if you wait until the decision's been made.
It's not too like if we wait. Let's wait till he at least buys it.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. That's fine. Well, I don't know if I agree actually. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I wouldn't mind taking a flyer on some. This is a flyer. Because at this point, it has the potential to no longer be a meme coin. I've told people for a long time, like, I hate that it's called a meme coin because it's not a joke. Like, people aren't laughing that made those huge gains. Shiba was created with the mindset of being a joke, okay? Dogecoin actually has served some purposes in the history of Bitcoin and was one of the first kind of community coins that decentralized decentralized communities out there. It was a pretty big, vibrant community in the earlier days of crypto. So, and also it served when it was a much lower price point, around a penny or lower, served as a really big liquidity pool for people trying to buy and sell large amounts of Bitcoin through order books on exchanges. So it was interesting. There at one time, I don't know if it's true now, but at one time there were more Bitcoin at stake per Satoshi of Dogecoin than any other coin in the world. And it was dramatically higher than everywhere else. The reason is because it was only like 17 Satoshis back then. So a change from 17 Satoshis to 18 Satoshis or 17 to 16 triggered like hundreds of Bitcoin buys. So hundreds of Bitcoin, buys is what I'm trying to say here. Not hundreds of small transactions, but hundreds of Bitcoin would be sold off every time there was a Satoshi move. Let's see here. He didn't respond to comment. Wall Street is likely to view the openness is the beginning of the end for Twitter as a public company. Several analysts say they expect the board to only accept a bid that's at a minimum of $60 a share. He'll go there, no problem, I believe. So really interesting. It's like he's been campaigning lately. So he's been campaigning for it. So can Elon Musk eliminate Twitter spam with Saylor's orange tick? And this goes into kind of Saylor on rumor. We'll get into that. See, I thought this was this story. We should actually do the chart. We'll do it. Can Musk eliminate Twitter spam with Saylor's orange tick? So this is what I really want to talk about here today, guys, which is, does it make sense to spend Bitcoin? Does it make sense to go spend I think they say the average house right now is worth like 8 Bitcoin or something like that in America. They showed a chart where it used to be like hundreds or thousands.
Is that the Morgan Stanley chart?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think I sent that to Adam and Bo.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting. But the fact is that you don't want to spend your Bitcoin because it's worth more down the road. Well, a microtransaction actually does make sense because you're only sending a very small amount that will separate you from a spam bot. And that's actually worth it, in my opinion, because, okay, so let's say you do 20 microtransactions at a penny a piece. What's that 20 cents really going to go to one day? Okay, yeah, you're throwing away $5 in the future possibly, but is that really something that matters? That's why this could be, in my opinion, the single biggest transaction move in Bitcoin's history, going back to the 10,000 Satoshi or 10,000 Bitcoin pizzas. Because this actually makes sense. It solves a problem. It shows the usefulness of Bitcoin, and it protects people from scams. It's really a perfect scenario. Musk tweeted that he will die trying to authenticate all humans on the platform. I recently told the TEDx conference or the TED conference, scam bots make Twitter much worse. Adding, if he had a Dogecoin for every crypto scam he saw on Twitter, he would have 100 billion Dogecoins. Probably not an exaggeration, to be honest with you. In response, Adam Back has argued that the suggestion would be bad for privacy. But we talked about this last week about how that doesn't matter because I'm sorry, I don't care about your Anon Twitter accounts. I'm sorry. I don't care about your Anon Twitter accounts when it comes to protecting people. Because look, this is a public site here. Okay. This is not, protected transactions. And look, you don't have to use the transactions, okay? You don't have to do we don't know, will it be KYC? Or can you just use microtransactions? And yes, it might be exposing your Bitcoin address or your Bitcoin wallet, but it's not necessarily going to be where you've got to fill out KYC for your account. I don't care if Twitter has your information and knows who you are. You may be shocked to know this, but in reality, like even you guys that think you're protected, you guys that think that you're Anon on Twitter, Twitter knows who you are. And, we've been in some lawsuits, some legal proceedings to where we know if we go to Twitter with evidence of, malice or what's the word I'm looking for?
Malfeasance or
where they libel, whatever it might be, where people are making up lies about you. Slander, lies, where you can actually contact the attorneys at Twitter and they will dox someone for you. So if you think that you're protected, you're not. If you think you're legally protected from Twitter, they know who you are and they can figure it out very easily if they don't. Because you do have to use real email addresses. And, now if you're using Proton Mail, maybe there might be a little bit harder to track you down. But for the most part, Twitter knows who these people are.
They usually end up getting you through your internet provider.
Exactly. They can go through your ISP.
Everybody has an IP address.
Yeah. So anyways, the idea here is that Michael Saylor proposed that when that you can basically create an orange check mark next to your name, which means you're a verified human and not a robot. And that's done through a microtransaction. You have to understand the way these scam bots work is it's volume. It's quantity over quality. So they just push out hundreds of thousands of accounts like that, and they make a couple tweets and they don't care if they get banned. But if they're having to pay a penny a piece, that deletes their motivation to do so. And this could become an actual prototype for how to solve these problems in the future going forward for other social media platforms. Bitcoin could become the verifier, which would be absolutely amazing. So, all right. Real quick, we'll cover, well, let me just, before we move on to this Michael Saylor rumor about him selling his Bitcoin, which isn't true, what I would like to say is that I think that this could be a pivot point for Bitcoin if this happens. Imagine all the transactions on the Bitcoin network that will be occurring, and imagine all of the people on Twitter that are not on crypto Twitter will have to learn how to use Bitcoin in a rudimentary form in order to get verified so they don't see spam bots. And then you know what's going to happen, right? There's going to be orange tick FOMO.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have an orange tick, you're not in vogue, okay? You ain't Gucci if you don't have a tick. Everybody's going to want a tick. So I think that this has an opportunity to have a massive effect on Bitcoin. Will it have a massive effect on the price? Well, here's what would be interesting. Okay, if you want to look for your hopium on this, you would think, right, that if this were to happen, Elon Musk might do what we've seen him do with Tesla and suspected with his private company, SpaceX, buy Bitcoin for the treasury.
Mm-hmm.
It would make sense for them to have a giant, boat of crypto if you've got all these transactions coming through. So it could actually, they might build an exchange into it at some point.
Well, think about
right?
this. You think
Atomic
about
swaps or something.
If they are the first people to use a Bitcoin, say Lightning protocol for this orange tick verification, kind of like Facebook was one of the first people to do the human, basically say who you are, your identity. Twitter could then become the kind of authentication login to the rest of the metaverse and create in anything Web3, right? You connect your Lightning wallet. You've already verified on Twitter that you're a human. Now you connect to application X, Y, Z across different metaverses, and you've still got that orange tick mark. Long term, they could become the login check-in across all of the metaverse.
Yeah. I think, like I said, this has a chance to be a real pivot point here.
Yeah.
Real quick, guys, people were saying Michael Saylor had sold his Bitcoin. Like, I don't even really want to touch on this story that much, other than to say, here's what he said. He said, not sure who needs to know this, but when MicroStrategy makes any material change to its corporate strategy to acquire and hold Bitcoin or to its Bitcoin holdings, we disclose this to our shareholders via SEC filings available to all. So basically what he's saying is that,
they can't do anything fast. Yeah. They have to announce everything and make it public, vote, all that sort of stuff.
Someone saying in the chat, I'm being a moon boy over this Twitter situation. This is a gigantic deal. Number one. Number two, I'm giving you guys some hopium on how this could affect the Bitcoin price, but I believe we're in a bear market, and I believe that we will be bottoming, sometime within the next 12 months. You'll have to watch our video this weekend to find out exactly when I think the bottom is. And look, a lot of people made fun of us because we said the bull market was going to end in between September 28th and Thanksgiving. We nailed it. We got led astray with some numbers. We nailed the time frame, and we're not going to let that ever happen again. We're going to use our own research. We're not using any, sources of anything anymore. We're hitting the books here. We're hitting TradingView. We're coming up with the information that made this channel popular in the first point. So we're going to have a video for you guys this weekend detailing exactly what we think is going to play out. So, Frank, you want to come on up? Frankie Candles coming on up to talk the price of Bitcoin and beyond.
Yay.
What is going on, guys? Ben, I do have to say I like your shirt.
Thank you.
That's a nice shirt.
Everybody's loving the shirt.
What is going on, guys? Hope you guys are having a great Monday. We got a bunch of stuff going on with the good old Bitcoin. We're going to take a look at it. We have the DXY ripping and the SPY is slipping. We're going to take a look at both of those. And then I'm going to let you guys know, what's kind of going through our minds here with the price action. We got some good stuff, some bad stuff. As always, we're going to give you guys both cases. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the charts. Starting off here, we're not really going to spend too much time on the weekly. We're going to come straight down to the daily. And actually, Ben, you were saying before, your Ethereum, if we do come down, you were thinking, what would you say, 25, 30%, something like that?
Yeah, I mean, I can see Ethereum pretty easily from here. Touching 2,200, 1,900, I think is definitely a possibility for a low. But yeah, I think anytime you can accumulate Ethereum 2,800 or lower, I think that is a great price point to accumulate.
Yeah, I would agree. Also, another good way that I look at when I'm DCAing, another good strategy that I look at is, when the weekly is in the red, right? We do have the weekly on Market Cipher confirmed in the red. Now, this is kind of where I start to look at starting to DCA into the market, because if you backtest this, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it, but anytime we're in the red, I mean, these are historically the best times to buy. Anytime you bought when the weekly was in the red on Market Cipher B, you would have basically been buying the bottom. But I did just think that number was interesting because, when obviously this is Bitcoin, not Ethereum, but, we're starting to think, if you measure down about 25 to 30% from on Bitcoin, and you come down about 25%, brings you right down to this macro golden pocket, which we are expecting some sort of strong bounce if we get back down there. I do think we will see pretty strong support here. If anything, if we do wind up breaking it, I think we will at least get a very powerful pump or bounce off of it. But you come down 25%, it's right to the top of this golden pocket. And then you come down 30%, brings you like just about to the bottom of this golden pocket. And, I think this is kind of the level where I'm starting to think, I know a lot of people are saying that we could be hitting a bottom here. But if we get down here, this is where I'm seriously starting to think, this could be the bottom. Maybe we don't go. You guys know my general prediction if we do start to break these levels down here. And we're going to zoom in a second, take a closer look at what's going on. But if we do break these levels and start to come down here, this is kind of where I would start looking at maybe this is the bottom, right? And then if we do break this level, I am thinking, mid to low 20s. As Ben has said in the past, we didn't see max euphoria this cycle, so I don't know if we'll see max pain all the way to test the top of the previous cycle, which would be 20K. But I'm thinking more, between 25 and 23, absolute worst case scenario. But I do just want to point out, I don't think it's impossible to bounce off of this golden pocket. Also, if we do start making our way down here, hang on, let's just go ahead and turn our, we'll turn off the DBSI, but we do have this 200-week moving average that, depending on, how long it takes us, how long we hang out up here, if we do wind up making our way down, this moving average is just going to keep coming up higher and higher. So right now, the 200-week moving average is coming in at about 21. But who knows? By the time we start getting down there, it could be up into 22, 23, 24, whatever it is. So that is another reason why I'm thinking that maybe 20K might be. We might not see 20K. We might see a little bit higher than that. But when we get down to this golden pocket, I will start to think, possibly this could be the bottom. And then just zooming in to the daily here. Now, just looking at the price action right now, guys, we're starting to close daily candles underneath this bear flag, right? Not impossible to get back in there, but right now we are closing daily candles below this bear flag. Could be hinting that we are going to break to the downside. And then, coming down, let's look at the 4-hour. Get a little better of a look at what's going on here, right? We came down and we bounced off of our golden pocket once again. We came back here not too long ago, got a big bounce. That one was a pretty strong bounce, right? We had the 4-hour bullish divergence to bring us up there, and now we are coming down, have tested this golden pocket again, and yet again, we are seeing at this golden pocket a bullish divergence forming here with the market Cipher B or your RSI, depending on which indicator you're using, making higher lows as your price is making lower lows, right? So typically you see price come up when you see these bullish divergences. So as you can see, we are getting a pretty nice pump. Now, as far as where I think this can bring us, if we don't wind up getting an absolutely massive pump out of this, I would be looking at 40K, this white line right here, for a little rejection if we make it up that high. I am in a little bit of a scalp long off of this golden pocket, and I will be starting to take profits in this area. But 40K, probably going to see a little rejection there. Very, very strong resistance. Now, let's go ahead. And then actually to the downside as well, if we do wind up coming down from here, you do have the 38K even, that psychological support that you could get a bounce off of. And then underneath that, you do have this 786 fib level coming in at 36.4 approximately, which I do think we will find some support. But right now we get the bullish divergence on the 4 hour. I do think we can come up short term. Again, looking at 40K for a rejection. And then also, I do just want to check in on, let's check in on the DXY, as we like to keep an eye on this. It does move inverse to Bitcoin, for those who do not know, for the most part, right? They do deviate at times, but a lot of the times when the DXY is going up, Bitcoin will go down. And we are still working our way up here. Can we make it to this trend line where we have rejected pretty harshly 2 other times? It looks like we do have a chance to get back up to this trend line. And then if we do get a rejection, a harsh rejection off of this, maybe that's when we start seeing some more upside for Bitcoin. Coming over to the SPY before I let you guys go. Let's come on over to the daily. The SPY is starting. The SPY is starting to slip here. Oh boy, look at these candles. Yikes. So yeah, we obviously have lost this support. We were actually hanging on to this for quite a while, but finally have smashed through it. Coming down, obviously we want to see this turn around. And then just another thing I want to point out, guys, obviously this is not good for Bitcoin. We want to see this turn around if we want Bitcoin to come back up. But there it is, right? Blood diamond on the weekly for the SPY as well. This is I know people, they like to, it's not going to play out. It's not going to play out. Possible, right? Possible that what doesn't play out. But, this was here. We're looking at the weekly chart. So this confirmed, this has been confirmed. So we've seen this. So, could have seen this coming if you guys were keeping an eye on that. Let's just hope that that Bitcoin weekly blood diamond does not play out in the same way. That's all I got. Back to Ben. Bing bong.
Bing bong. Yep. Whoop. There he is. And there he is. Look at that.
Felt like
Magic.
a seal.
A seal?
I don't know why. It felt like a seal.
Dance around for some fish?
Did y'all ever hear the story of the guy? The Golden Gate Bridge, they had to build these things because it was the #1 place people commit suicide.
Yeah.
There was a guy, can't remember where I listened to this. Maybe it was on Joe Rogan. But he tried to kill himself. He jumped off the Golden Gate Bridge.
And he landed on a
He
seal?
landed and he shattered his legs.
Oh.
A seal
Oh, God.
got up under him. He couldn't swim. He didn't have legs.
Yeah.
And kept him up until a boat came and picked him up. He said as soon as he jumped, there's a documentary about it somewhere. He said as soon as he jumped, he knew he made a big mistake and he wanted to live. Oh, true miracle of the Lord, I would say. Right there, you get a seal. So it's a very powerful story. You check it out.
Can you push that frame up like a 1/4 inch, but very carefully? Yep. That's it. Thanks.
Oh, God.
Now it's broken, so no more NFTs for anybody. This is why we can't have nice things. Now we're done. All right. Yeah.
Me bits.
Somehow,
That's me bits.
somehow it'll move before the next show. I don't know how, but
It always happens. Yeah. Guys, so I don't know if you've heard this. I think the reason why the stock market is down today, the SPY, is that that they say it's looking like 0.75 basis points increase in June. We're looking at going up to 1% interest rates and some stuff that I really want to get in on the channel. Like, we can't do it right now, but is these treasury bonds, they're up almost at 3% for people with great credit. Mortgage rates are up to like 5.5%.
it's going to get bad.
It's, looking like things.
Put
are
it
rough.
this way, not a lot of people with disposable income to be thrown at crypto in the
Yeah.
next year or so.
Well, I tell you, I certainly, this is where we get into the weird stuff of like, I don't want people to lose money. Like, that's never my goal for what I want is for people to lose money. I want people to make money. I want the best for everybody. That's what I want, right? But that stock market is crashing.
But pain is coming.
Pain is the point. That's what the Great Reset people said. But pain is coming. Recession is probably coming in the United States. Here's what's so interesting. We've been talking for weeks about the correlation between or we're talking for months, really, the correlation between the stock market and crypto and Bitcoin. And when I go on these mainstream like MSNBC or Bloomberg or Yahoo Finance or Fox Business, this is one of the questions they always want to know about is the correlation. They want Bitcoin to be correlated to the stock market. That's what they all want. Like, people desperately want this because then it becomes a little more predictable and it's just another thing you invest in. Guys, when this Bitcoin halving occurs and we're in a recession and the price of Bitcoin starts rising dramatically, we will break out of that correlation. And I believe we will break out of correlation as soon as, the stock market were to bottom, wherever that might be. That's when the correlation will get further and further apart. Guys, it's only correlating right now because we hit the end of the bull market at the same time the stock market was peaking, which hasn't always happened.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're going into recession in the stock market in the United States, I believe, at the time when we're supposed to be in a bear market. It's just the timing of where Bitcoin is in the 4-year cycle is aligning with what we're seeing on the stock market. So I would not read into thinking this is going to be correlated. So yes, it's bad news in the short term. The stock market falls because Bitcoin will fall more. But guys, don't buy this narrative that Bitcoin and stocks move side by side. If you look at the history of correlation, there are times when they do, and then there are times when they don't. Okay, it's not always correlated. All right, we're going to run through these stories pretty quickly. Weakening global economy could trigger next parabolic crypto bull run, according to Raoul Pal. Really excited about my interview this weekend. I love Raoul Pal. And I told him after the interview, we were chit-chatting. He's gonna help me out with something that I'm not really gonna talk about on the channel yet, but he's gonna help me out with something, and it's really big and it's really cool. But what I want to say is, after we got done with the interview, we were chatting for a while, and I said, I'm not trying to blow smoke. Like, I really want him to understand that. Like, I'm not like I don't get in awe of big people. Like, I'm not in awe of celebrities, right? Very few people out there impress me. Jordan Davis from Georgia, who's going to the NFL, seeing him in person impressed me.
Big boy.
He's a big boy. Yeah. Like, that was like, oh, I want to get a picture with him. He's huge, right? It's got to be something very odd or very, very cool or very odd or very unique to really get me to where, like, I'm in awe of someone or something. I'm like, Raoul Pal is like the nicest person, and he's awesome, and he's made a lot of money, and he's really, really smart. And the stuff he does with Real Vision that's outside of crypto is amazing. The talks they do about China on that channel gives you an insight in their economy. It's just amazing stuff. And he's such a great guy. It's so good to have him on the show. So he's a great friend of the channel, and I can't wait to tell you what we're going to be doing, down the road, in the next few months. But former Goldman Sachs, Raoul Pal, says changes in global market conditions could set off the next bull run for Bitcoin. Oh, this is about my interview. Look at that.
It is Raoul Pal and BitBoy is the title
Oh, that's the title
of this section.
Oh, yeah, it does say that. In a new interview with BitBoy Crypto, Powell says that he's still bullish on crypto. The market needs a shot in the arm to ignite the next leg of the bull run. I actually think that we're still probably in kind of the first phase of the next bull leg up. You guys know I don't agree with that, which is fine. That's what it feels like to me, he said. But we need to see something change. What is the thing that's going to do that? My guess is if the U.S. economy or the global economy starts weakening, this is what I was talking about with the correlation and the lack of permanence with correlation, then the market's going to say, oh, there's going to be less rate hikes than expected, and therefore that tends to be good for crypto or technology, kind of Cathie Wood style technology investments. I think at the margin, it's those kinds of things.
So basically, he's saying he thinks they're going to show these 0.75 basis point hikes, but it's going to get too weak and they're going to back off it.
Yeah.
And that's going to reignite
Well, one
things?
thing that we talked about was, the expectation of inflation.
Right.
what number they want to get it to. Now they're saying as high as 3%. So if we're at 8 now, and this is year over year, I can see us getting to 3 within 12 months from now.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely possible. So, so he says, this is another thing we've talked a lot on the channel, the retail left in May. So is it possible that the bear market actually started in May and we could see a bottom next month? It's the end of April, very soon to May now. I think it's definitely possible. And the reason they came out in May was because inflation started rising, so people had less money in their pocket. People keep thinking there's going to be a wall of money where one day everybody comes in at once. It doesn't work that way. It's like a tide that comes in, and before you know it, you're that deep. That's why people miss it, because they're waiting for the tide to come in. But really, it's when the tide is sucking out to the tsunami, the money's flowing out. That's when you need to be piling in. You want to be part of the tsunami. You don't want to get hit by the tsunami, if that makes sense. So very cool stuff there from Raoul Pal. Big interview this weekend. Fortune 500, 94% of surveyed execs have blockchain project plans. Doesn't surprise me. A lot of these companies getting big into crypto. We're going to just skip by this story. Skybridge goes all in on crypto, betting on tremendous growth ahead. This is Anthony Scaramucci. He was Trump's press secretary for, I think, 1 week until he said some ridiculous stuff. I don't remember what he said.
I don't either.
I don't remember what it is, but
But he's always saying ridiculous stuff.
I tell you what, a fun interview would be me and Anthony Scaramucci.
Yeah,
we're both big talkers. I think I got some ties. Maybe we should try to have him on the channel.
Yeah.
What about the Wolf of Wall Street? Are people interested on having him on this channel?
Jordan Belfort.
Yeah, he did talk about me one time, but it wasn't that bad what he said. He used me on the thumbnail for clickbait, but whatever. I don't hold that against people.
I think either one of those would be interesting. Just even if it's just a one-off.
Yeah,
I'd be interested.
He was at the Bitcoin whale party we were at, but he left right before we got there. Okay. So anyways, Skybridge is bullish. Let's move on to talk about SEC. We got to end the show here in about 5 minutes, guys. SEC Ripple extend legal battle until 2023. XRP bears the brunt of case. And this is what I talked about yesterday on my XRP video. And guys, this is where, number one, if you're in the XRP army, make sure to
up. Other way.
No, this is where I want to be.
Oh, under the X.
I got a sweat mark from my navel on my shirt here. Is that hot? Why is it so hot in here today?
I don't know. I'm feeling great.
I wore the warmest shirt too. Like,
Yes.
the short's pretty warm the day that it's also 77 degrees.
I wore shorts today, so I'm feeling good.
Yeah. Very good. Guys, this is where, when we talk about XRP, throw the X up. Make sure to smash the like button for us. This is where it's important to understand the difference between someone being negative, FUD, and then what's actually reality, but it doesn't feel good. Okay? Guys, we were told that this case was going to be over at the end of last year. And there's actually, I do think there is some actual evidence to the point that it was supposed to be, but I don't care about that at this point. It wasn't, it didn't end. We all know that. I thought for sure this case was going to end this year. About midway through this, between the beginning of the year and now, I had totally given up on the information I had as being, is coming through. I started saying, okay, well, let's look at the actual schedule. When should this be over? Well, Jeremy Hogan and John Deaton, they were both saying, the schedule, probably around September of this year, or whatever the case may be. But now we have this, okay? This is negative for XRP in the short term, okay? This has zero effect on XRP in the long term. And by long term, I mean 2 years from now. Executives of Ripple Labs and the SEC have agreed to prolong the timeline of their lawsuit and postpone court proceedings until the end of 2022, implying their legal standoff would likely last well into next year. Both parties jointly requested the extension in a letter to Judge Sarah Netburn, who has been presiding over the case. Now, let's think about this, guys, okay? Let's think about this. Why? Why would Ripple agree to this? Because Ripple agreed to this pretty quickly, right? They didn't appeal this decision that I know of. Because it makes more sense for the price. Okay. If we are bottoming somewhere between the fall and Q3 of next year, if we're bottoming sometime on Bitcoin within that range, generally where the Bitcoin bear market bottom should be, then wouldn't it make sense to end this around the time of the bottom?
Yep.
Why? Because if this news comes out and Bitcoin the next week or the next day drops from $40,000 to $32,000, all the momentum is gone. Ripple's not a dumb company. They've actually been in crypto since 2004.
Yeah.
I know that doesn't make sense because Bitcoin wasn't even thought of until 2008, but there were other forms of digital money. Ripple as a company has been around since 2004. I can't remember the original name of it. But they've been in for a while. They've seen every cycle, okay? Jed McCaleb, like the father of, crypto exchanges, co-founder of Ripple, or co-founder of the new iteration of Ripple, okay? So these people know what they're doing. They understand these market cycles, okay? I always said I thought Charles Hoskinson set that roadmap for Cardano up to be slow on purpose, to make sure that he caught the next bull run. Worked out pretty well. Like, great, we didn't get to $8 to $12. Bitcoin also didn't get to $100,000 to $300,000 like we thought it had the potential to do. So Cardano, the top was lower than we thought it would be, but it went from an average of 5 cents in the bear market to $3, okay? Worked out well. I think that's what's going on right now, is I think now Ripple is very comfortable delaying this into next year because they understand this is going to be the best possible thing for the price. You have also, Bullish Stevie brings up, also the ETH merge delay. That's being delayed as well. And it won't surprise me if we get more ETF delays coming this month or next month. Like I said, that's a place where Raoul Pal and I, have an area of disagreement on. He thinks they're coming soon. I don't think they're coming until next year. I said 2023 at the earliest in the bull run. I told you guys that. I didn't expect a spot ETF to be approved anytime soon. So, we'll see how all this plays out. But, this is a gift that you guys have been given. I want you to understand this. We know where this case is going at this point. It's very obvious this is coming out, at least majority on the side of Ripple. The SEC will find a way to make some, win out of it, okay, a fine or whatever the case may be. Ripple's winning this case. Ripple will not be a security. Ripple will get, XRP will get, the difference between the company and the token, XRP will not be a security, and XRP will be relisted on exchanges as soon as this is over, if not a little bit beforehand, possibly, okay? You've been given a gift. It's time, guys, to own up to the fact that we are in a bear market, and this is the time that you missed last time. And if you didn't, if you sat through the last bear market and you're in this chat and you never left crypto or this channel, then you crushed it massively. You've probably retired, or you have enough money to retire, or you probably bought a house with cash, or you have a yacht. And I know that because I talk to people. Okay, we are now in that time. We are now in the time that matters. This is the time where 4 years from now, or 3 years from now, when we hit all-time highs again, people will look back and say, I wish I were there then. That's what they're going to say. This is the time right now. So I really implore you, if you're in the XRP community, that, make sure that you accumulate during this time. It's a gift. We at least have some signs of when the end is coming. And that's all I got, guys. I gotta run. I got an appointment I've got to get to today, so we're not going to do Q&A. I will say on that J22 question, the crypto down market trend is coming. When should we begin to DCA in? Right now is when you need to start DCAing. Right now. A couple weeks ago would have been good too. No time better than today. So, all right, guys, that is all we got for today. I will be back tomorrow. I'll be on Around the Blockchain later today. That's all I got. Be blessed. BitBoy out.